Hello. Time is 11:09 a.m. This is my first YouTube diary. My name is Frank. No need for last names at this point. Um, but part of mental health therapy, is doing a diary, and I thought this was kind of a creative way. Um, I suffer from depression. Have a UV light allergy. I can't be out in the sun. Some LED lights even hurt because of the wavelength frequency. Uh, Part of having the UV light allergy is black boils, really painful, and they have to be lanced. Fortunately for me, I've met a great woman. My fiance proposed to her last year at the lighting of Christmas Village in Ogden, Utah. Underneath the fireworks, a very painful but great experience. The lights in there were just beyond words in pain, but I managed to get the words out, to ask her to marry me. She said yes, and then she had to help, along with her and a couple of the friends, had to help get me to the vehicle, get her to her mom's car so we could get home. By the time we got home, I was deathly ill, but managed to survive it. Which is always a good thing. You don't want to propose and then kick the bucket. Let's see. But I'm uploading this to YouTube. Once again, it's just a creative diary. A way to deal with depression. Maybe I'll share a few of the tips that I've learned, because I get it bad. I'm trapped within doors. I really can't even go out at night anymore because the lights are somewhat painful. I don't have a protective suit. One of the reasons being is about the only thing you can really find to protect myself that's within my budget, because I draw SSI, is a latex or rubber suit. But after what this guy did in Colorado, I'm scared to death to do that. I don't want people to mistake me as a nut and decide to fill me full of holes, or be aggravated by police department. I'm actually in talks with them to make sure, hey, if I do this, it's me. I've talked about reflective stickers, making it very clear that I'm very visible. Maybe like, I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I'm from Virginia originally, and growing up in Virginia, Southerner, NASCAR go hand in hand. Something like maybe Dale Earnhardt Jr. stickers, 88 Mountain Dew, stuff like that. Let's see here. I'm a little overweight, will admit that. I'm trying to go on a diet. Hardest thing about going on to a diet is sticking to it, which adds to your depression. But, got to work through it. I have kind of one of the drawbacks to my fiance is she is a wonderful cook. She makes a steak that once you eat it, you literally immediately, full or not, you want another. Let's see. Moving on. Dealing with depression. For me, despite what people are saying about video games, and guns going hand in hand, nope. I suffer through some of the worst depression you can imagine. If I do get tagged by lights, my body hurts unbelievably, and I don't take hardcore pain medication. I don't like it. Number one is it makes me crazy. Number two, at times it lays me out for a day or two at a time. I don't like, I'm 36. I can't afford to miss any more days. But video games are a great stress reliever to me. And, I guess what we'll talk about throughout the diary entries is some of the video games that are actually helpful to me. Maybe you find them helpful. I don't know. Probably the one I play the most is Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Very impressed by the graphics. The storyline's kind of decent. It's one of those epic tales, but I would prefer more choice in it. But I'm not doing a video game review, please note. I know that started to sound like that. God, I hate these goggles, but these are kind of a necessity to wear. On my Gmail account, I don't wear them very much. They were hurting my, My eyes were hurting. Now I'm having to wear them a lot more. I was doing on my Gmail account my diary, and I decided that I was going to go here, and I'm getting off subject again. But nonetheless, Elder Scrolls is a way to relax. It's a way to take my avatar, go out to a certain part of the game, and watch the sunrise. It's a way to walk in the snow without in the sun and not have to worry about the reflection and being cooked extra crispy. Little KFC joke. I've heard them all. But nonetheless, it's a way to adventure and leave the house without actually leaving the house. If you're suffering from depression, Skyrim's a great way to kind of accomplish things. You set it on easy, you can pretty much blow through the game. At current, I think I'm using a warrior class and kind of, a little bit of magic on the side. But it's a great way to relax. I'm not officially on Xbox Live. I don't have the gold membership, so. But if you want to add me as a friend if you're suffering from depression, I'd be happy to talk to you. My online gamer tag is Mystic's Pet. I'm easy to find. My wife's a gamer. She's kind of the exact opposite. I do play shooters, but she plays hardcore style on shooters. At one point, we played Gears of War 2 for 3 days. And she is just awesome on Gears. I wouldn't say she's like in the top, ranked players, but, she's just awesome. Occasionally I will cuss. I'm trying to hold it back. I'm trying to be respectful on YouTube. But you will, occasionally hear me say the F word, I'll damn, ass, everything else. If I'm in a really bad mood, probably not a good day to watch it. I'll make sure to kind of entitle bad mood, and mature for language. Let's see. Covering the depression thing. I won't be just talking about that, of course. I'll cover things that are, throughout my day, how I live, being indoors all the time. I found myself that I scrub to be very clean. We'll talk a little bit about my past, but not much. And I've got a very rough past. Not as rough as most, but still, and I'll tell up front, I'm not going to share everything. There's things that, with my family that are better left alone. But, let's see. I fool with my hair a lot. It's long. My fiance likes it. Try to move around on different topics. Racism. Though I'm from the South, I'm not the least bit racist. I often have heard, when I've moved out toward the West, if they hear I'm from the South, the immediate assumption is that I'm racist. No, I'm not. I don't believe in discrimination of any culture, any race. I think if we had a little bit more tolerance, we could actually learn from each other and get along a little bit better. My personal opinion. In fact, I think there was an African American who probably said one of the most profound things I ever heard, as far as race. And you'll probably hear it a lot, especially on the topic, because I'm always reminded of the late great Richard Pryor, a comedian and movie star out of the 70s into the 80s, who worked with Gene Wilder, did stand up with George Carlin. Just an amazing, talented person. And he was doing a show in New Orleans. And he was in this place, and he was making fun of all races, all cultures. It didn't matter to him. Because if you couldn't laugh at yourself, then you could not laugh at any other culture. So he hit everybody, and it was just hilarious. And then all at once he stopped. He said, "Have you noticed this?" He says, "Look around." He says, "It's insane. Racism is insane." He says, "Because in here we're all getting along." He says, "That's insanity. Because if we can get along some of the time," he says, "why can't we get along all the time? Why does it take a little concert like that to bring all these different cultures to one spot and make them laugh? But yet, outside, I mean, really? People are so offensive at a joke." And I've pretty much heard them all. I grew up, being made fun of at one point or another. And I learned to laugh at myself. Even today, I make jokes about myself. I have a UV light allergy that is painful beyond words, and yet I find a way to laugh at it. And if you want to give me your best vampire joke, I'll even rate it for you. I've pretty much heard them all. So if you've got a good one, hit me with it. Let's see what you got. Only thing I ask is try to be respectful. Nothing about my mom. That's kind of pushing it, but I'll take it in stride. Feel free to take every shot you can at me. If you're willing to take a shot and make me laugh, hey, I'm all for it. I'll even rate your joke, and it's no big deal. Of course, I am a Southerner. Don't ever make fun of my mother or my wife, or soon to be wife. Southern people, that is one trait I've found that most people, you can attack a guy's dad all you want, but apparently attacking someone's mom, wow. Even heard of a man getting shot for that back when I was growing up. Not to say that I would. All for gun rights. And I'm not going to say whether or not I have one. I don't want this to show up on YouTube. Oh, he doesn't have a gun. I'll just walk in. No. And the idea that if anybody gets the idea, well, I've got a UV flashlight, I'll just walk in. Please know it'll take 30 minutes to an hour to bring me down with that. By that time, I'd be on somebody like Snake on Share. One of the big things with me is a redhead, so I do have a bit of a short fuse, especially when it comes to someone breaking into my home. And you might get the better of me. Or then again, you might feel like you just went out and wiped a bobcat's ass with a piece of sandpaper and found out what kind of fight it's going to be. That's a Southern joke. And God, I think I just screwed it up. If anybody knows the true saying to that, pass it along to me. Lord, I lived in Virginia and Tennessee and Kentucky pretty much my whole life. Up until 6 years ago, I moved to Idaho to be with roommates, and then I met this beautiful woman, and she was with somebody. I decided, hey, she's with somebody. I'd let that go. When she got a divorce, though, she and I had, been talking, and one thing led to another, and here we are. She's actually another reason I don't take pain medication, because when I had my teeth pulled, and I took a lower tab for the first time. And apparently she came over to visit her and her husband, and in a drugged up state on a pain medication. I professed my love to her, told one of their friends that he had a hairy leg for a woman. No, never again. I will never take hardcore pain medication. And I don't even think lower tabs even considered hardcore. But nonetheless, no. When you're making mistakes like that, no. You don't need pain medication. Better just to go with the pain and say, at least I keep control of my mouth. Fortunately for me, her ex-husband understood at the time that, I was on medication. Was a little weary of me, didn't see him as much, But, yeah, maybe I loved her back then. I just didn't let my heart and my brain communicate. And apparently, when you're on medication, they talk. I don't know what they're saying. Don't know, conversations, if they're gambling, whatever. Gambling, I don't do. Jinx my team every time. Huge 49ers fan. They lost whoop-de-doo. Moving on. Football, 49ers fan. Basketball, Lakers fan, which they're sucking this year. Probably going to be in the rebuilding phase for the next 10 years. I'll probably be an old man before I get to see them win another title. Baseball, however, go back across the country, and I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. Got to meet Chipper Jones, and that pretty much changed my whole opinion of baseball. I think he's retired this year. I haven't been watching baseball. One since the strike years ago. The whole steroid scandal. The NFL I kind of lost interest in because of the strike. And finally, basketball. No, I grew up during the 80s, and some of you young people out there, God, he's old. No, the 80s was Showtime basketball. Back then, even on the court, you could show off your dunks. Now it's a straight shot, usually one-handed. You throw it down and get back down the court. Speaking of basketball, Dennis Rodman in North Korea. I was almost shocked. But, I mean, you know, you got a crazy dictator out there. Send the league-leading player of rebounds, who, you know, Dennis Rodman has proven in the past he's a nutcase. I mean, he got married in a dress at one point, which cracked me up. I'm still a big fan of Dennis Rodman. If he could bring peace to North Korea, man, I'd vote him president. But God help the country, it pissed him off. Whew. You know, because I remember back in the day, he kicked a reporter for tripping him, you know, and he was at the end of the court. Dude got kicked. Dennis Rodman don't take no shit either. Let's see. You know, I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm going to try to get more organized with my diaries. You know, please note this is my first YouTube diary, and I'm trying to do a cleaner job than my Gmail account, which, you know, I'm pretty much done with if this uploads properly. I came off with a bit more of an angry attitude. One morning, Jehovah's Witnesses woke me up, and I was pretty ticked off. I cussed them up one side and down the other. I don't, you know, I go to bed way late in the night. I don't like to get up early. And there's a sign plain as day on my door. I don't answer the door. I tell you to come in. If you don't know how to use a doorknob, then that's on you. And if I tell you to come in 3 times and you're standing out there still knocking like an idiot, then I'm going to cuss. And I'm going to say what's on my mind. And it's not going to be pleasant because I'm already up. I'm already in a bad mood. And you just added to it for that. You know, I mean, if you can't read the sign that says UV light allergen, then obviously you're at the wrong door. That's food for thought. What else? I will be moving next month, so there might be a brief gap in the day-to-day diary while I'm moving, getting the internet and everything set up. Oh, I'm moving across the yard, believe it or not, to another apartment. So that's really cool. It's a 2-bedroom, bigger, more space, living room, everything. Got a dinkier air conditioner. I'm going to miss the monster I got underneath here. My air conditioner is actually underneath my table where the computer's sitting at and facing me. My wife's going to kill, or wife, God, I don't want to jinx that. My fiance very well may kill me if I don't get to the dishes soon here. That's a joke. For those who are married, you've heard this, you know, my wife's going to kill me. Yeah, you know the joke. Just means that you may be sleeping on the couch that night if you ain't done what you're supposed to have done. You know, and in my case, my wife doesn't, or forgive me. My fiance doesn't order me around, but I do tell her that I try to get things done. Part of the deal is, you know, I have the UV light allergy. I do the dishes. I gather up the trash. She goes out and pays the bills. You know, she gets money from babysitting. I get money from my SSI. But she goes out and pays the bills. She goes out and does the grocery shopping. She brings in the groceries. I put them away, and she helps me. And I don't ask her to. She just simply does. One of the reasons probably being is because she has a system for the cabinets, and I'm a guy and I don't understand it. Bill Engel, no kidding, being a guy is probably the harder part of it, because you don't understand anything as far as a woman's system, and you can't remember it. A woman's system is complicated most of the time. And I'm not saying this about all women, but there are some people, even some guys, who have this complicated, huge complicated system. I don't. Canned goods go in one spot. Pans in one spot. Hell, we've got 3 baking pans, and I think that's 3 too many. We have 2 cookie sheets. That's 1 too many. Countless bowls for everything. Little bowls, bowls like that. Bowls are just friggin' huge. For what? I mean, I can understand. To me, 5 big bowls takes care of everything. Why? Because they're big and they'll fit just about anything. Shove them in the refrigerator, done. But apparently, if you have a little bit of food, that's not a good idea to put it in a little bowl. I think a medium-sized bowl for, medium stuff, but a basic cereal bowl for anything small. I do not believe in a bowl that big. What am I supposed to put in that? When I've got regular bowls that will fit just about anything. I recycle butter bowls. Why? Because they're big, they're easy. Once you use them, hey, no point in throwing them away. They make great containers. God, that sounds so cheap, but in today's day and age, man, do what you have to. A few nights ago, I told my wife I wanted to grow a garden, and she looked at me like I lost my mind. And apparently, for that brief moment, I forgot that I had UV light allergy. And the whole thought process went down the drain, because you really can't do a garden unless you're out in the hot sun working. I would love to get a portobello mushroom kit and grow it, because apparently the portobello mushrooms are what they call them, bottle cap mushrooms, I think, or button mushrooms, grow in the same place that I have to live, a cold environment in the dark. Apparently, maybe I was meant to be a mushroom grower in this life. Portobellos, shiitakes, which is always a funny name. If you know what I'm talking about, laugh, get the joke. And either bottle cap or button mushrooms, all, pretty much have to live like I do in the dark. I know you may be seeing a little bit of light that's coming from the kitchen, and what it is it's 15 watts. It's a very low wattage bulb. It doesn't hurt too bad. It doesn't create the source. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see that. That's what the sun does. You can see these right through here. This is all, these are Lance black boils, and they will leave scars. This is where I got tagged early this morning. It's still forming. You can see it's reddened around the sides. Very painful. My fiance is going to have to put a needle into it and drain it later. I let her do it because I can't stand to look at it. I've got one under my underarm that's just killing me. She's going to have to take care of. We have 2 cats, and these are 2 idiots who seem to think it's a good idea to turn the sun loose on me. I think she's buying a squirt bottle today. I'm going to try to, we're not violent with our pets, but we're going to try to, a little bit of water. Most cats hate it. See if we can't get the clue to them that, hey, you're not supposed to be up on the curtains, pulling them back just to show me that it's sunny outside. I know. Well, this is well over what I thought it was going to be. I want to try to close this up, because date is March 5th, 2013. I should have said that at the beginning, and I didn't. I forgot. So, March 5th, 2013, finishing up at 11:35 a.m. I guess I should close it out by saying, thanks for allowing me to post the diary, YouTube. And good night, everybody, or good day. Boy, I'm out of here.